While clearing out some old doc files, I found this one named Morning Drive that I had last accessed 15 years ago in 2011. Click. I discovered a present tense narrative about my ride to work one morning in June of that year. I have a vague recollection of writing it, but abandoned the undertaking quickly because writing from that perspective felt clunky. It still feels clunky, and there's some slippage in the tenses, but the trip back in time to 2011 is a blast. Some things have changed, some haven't. So here you go. Time travel with me. Morning Drive, June 15th, 2011. It is June, it is hot, and I hurry to get into my car to get out of the heat. My cat and coworker Stingray whines in discomfort until I crank up and get the AC running full blast. I put one vent on me and one vent on Stingray. We both find relief as the cool air hits us, and off we go to work. I pause at the stop sign on Mangum Close Road and look both ways. I remember a time when there was no stop sign there, and my neighbor and cousin, Bevis Mangum, took it upon himself to put stop signs up on the Green Farm side of the intersection, and it caused a ruckus with the county. I smile and wish Bevis had been with us longer. As I pull out on the Highway 221, I wonder when Progress Energy is going to plant something on the desert they have created under the new big power lines. I think about complaining, but then reconsider. My love for electricity and its comforts is deep. I'll keep quiet for now and watch while nature heals itself. As I pass by Mary Helen's blue house on the left, I admire her loquat tree and wonder when mine will be so big. Dollar General has created more traffic on my side of town, and it slows me down a tad. Their trees have been growing fast too. I must be doing something wrong with my new trees, I think to myself. On my right, there's lots of furniture and cool looking stuff outside the new second-hand store 2 doors down from the Jiffy. I promise to stop by one day when it is not so hot. I admire the tomatoes and sunflowers growing at the house on the corner of Jefferson and Ash Street, the building that once housed Dr. Litchfield's chiropractic office. It looks like those tomatoes are going to make before ours. Crossing over Pimple Creek Bridge, I wonder for the millionth time who named the waterway. Shake my head and think a better name might be Carbuncle Creek. I see it as very low but not dry. I wish for rain. As I pass the Oakland house, I take a moment to smile at my memories of Barney and Bobby Ann and their role in my parents' courtship. Before I look over to my left at Veterans Park, I check Nancy's yard to make sure there's not a blade of grass out of place. Everything is as it should be. There are a few people gathered under the rapidly growing new trees at the park. Maybe I could take lessons on rapid tree growth from the veterans. Lowering my speed from 30 to 20, I pass by what I like to call yin and yang, more commonly known as Pam Wiley's house and Mark and Dana's house, located on the same block. Both these homes and yards are beautiful and well cared for, but the contrast between the two is what draws my interest each time I pass. Pam's house and yard is flowery and wild in a cottage garden kind of way. Mark and Dana's place is crisp, green, and manicured. I look across the street at Tammy Taylor's house and the garage apartment out back where I lived back in the 1980s, 624 and a half North Jefferson Street. I admired the color Tammy chose to paint the house. Still looking left, I glance over at Pat Cook's house, and as always, she's got something to say on her sign. I sing praises to free speech before I check out the Japanese magnolia in Eunice's yard. For the whole town, I think, this tree is a harbinger of spring when it begins to bloom pink in late winter. It's in full leaf summertime mode now and magnificent. Moving right along, I pass the city park across from the chamber and see a group of kids gathering under the shade of the picnic table. Whoever decided to build this simple structure at the city park was a genius. Nary a Saturday goes by without it being decked out and hosting birthday parties. It is well used. Passing the Methodist church, I flash back to Vacation Bible School, which the Methodists shared with our Presbyterian church during summers long ago. The image and soundtrack of my cousin Rosemary and me singing Jesus Loves Me at the top of our lungs fills my head for a moment. What Rosemary and I lacked in musical talent, we made up for in gusto. I go slower as the way narrows through downtown. Some of the empty buildings are sad, but the memories of those businesses still live. I picture Jeannie and Phyllis working behind the counter at Wells while I picked out my wedding china as a bride-to-be. Passing the fair store, still open, I recall the sad summer day in 2009 when Jaime fitted my husband in a new white long-sleeve shirt to go under his good suit. Jaime took one look at Rod and without measuring, called out his size, climbed the ladder to get it off the high shelf, and the shirt fit perfectly. Jaime was 85 in 2009 and climbed that ladder like he'd been doing it all his life. I guess he had. I resist stopping at the bakery, but notice that is not the case with everyone. The line is all the way out the door. I glance over at Perry newspapers and wonder if Susan would kill 2 firecracker plants if I gave them to her to put outside the office. They would look nice in those urn-style pots and can take the heat without constant water. The clock at the old depot, the digital clock in my car stays on Tulsa time. The clock at the depot tells me I have time to stop at the farmer's market. Men, ladies, and children are hawking squash, corn, and tomatoes from the backs of their trucks. I buy more than I need just to reward them for standing out in the heat. As I leave, I admire Patty's flower beds at Owens Animal Hospital and wonder what the big yellow one is called. Stopping at the red light, I look over at Ace Hardware and laugh about the day 2 decades prior when I backed my old green car into their lettered sign and it got hooked up on it, and the Ace boys had to separate the sign from my car with a crowbar and some tools. The legs on that sign stayed bent whoppy-jaw for years. My car was fine. The red light turns green, and I consider stopping at Hicks. I decide to wait until my way home. but I still look at all the cool stuff Marshall has out on the sidewalk in front of the feed store as I go by. My eyes on that new jumbo-sized galvanized wash tub. My speed pushes the limit as I look down at the Tulsa time clock, do a calculation, and realize I have only 2 minutes to get to work on time. I make it. June 15th, 2011.